Everyone doing? Apologize. Look like I may have dropped that connection. Let me know if I'm back up, guys. I'm sorry about that. Think I forgot to turn off the Wi-Fi connection and then it dropped out. Guys, let me know as you check in. Let me know where you're checking in from, what time of day it is, where you are. What are you working on today? How we doing? What's our focus? I'm going to be able to share with you guys some of uh, our apparel soon. Starting off with a nice cap and pullover, uh, B&V branded, so you guys can get it and support support the channel and the network. But this morning, I just want to say thank you for being up and for being here. Hope everyone is having a great day. Everyone is feeling well. Everyone is excited about where we're going today, what we're doing, what we're working on, as we are building ourselves a stronger, a deeper foothold, a stronger network, and a brighter future for ourselves. This is the morning walk and talk. Again, today is Saturday, August 16th. It is now 4:48 on the East Coast of the United States, and you're walking with the Birdman. If you were looking for motivation, if you are looking for communication, good morning, my love. Everyone, make sure you speak to my wife. If you're in there, make sure you say hello to my beautiful wife. If you are looking for that encouragement this morning, that voice, I want to say good morning to you. Be encouraged, be strong, be ready, be forceful, and be engaged. Good morning, my love. Thank you very much, my love. I will see you later. Mwah. Love my wife, love my life, know my purpose. Again, thank you for being here, guys. Welcome in. It is raining this morning. I do not know how heavy this rain will be or how much of this rain my phone can withstand. But let's see what we can do. Another exciting day. More exciting opportunities are upon us. We are here, people. Welcome in. Make sure you check in. Let me know where you're checking in from, what time of day it is, where you are. Saying what's up. What do we got there? Oh man, toxic. Yay, toxic. Hey people, let's see what I see. When I see what I see, my little view, people. People, it's Saturday morning. So Saturday morning is very casual morning, very comfortable. Great way to get on fire. Is that O fire? Made it another day, 4 a.m. in Missouri. Yes, you did, fire. Peter Lee, you got a Hellcat? You got a Hellcat? Come on, Peter Lee. You already know. You don't be asking nobody about their Hellcat. Come on, man. We ain't got to tell Hellcat stories. Nah, man, I ain't got no Hellcat. I have 7 children. You show me somebody, you show me a man with a Hellcat and 7 children, I'll show you a man who probably doesn't talk to his children. No, that's a joke. I'm kidding, people. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Good morning, guys. No, dude, it is a beautiful morning here today. Thank you guys for being here this morning. I would love to share with you. Um, One of the things that are really big, one of the focuses that we want to work on in our growth and development What's that? What we do here? We motivate, we encourage, we grow. Uh, it's how to stay ready for anything, right? Versus staying ready for everything. That's important because when we're on our life, when we're living, we have to understand that anything and everything are not the same thing, right? Because we get them confused. Oftentimes, we use them synonymous with one another as if they both mean the same thing. They don't both mean the same thing, right? So it's like when we're trying to stay ready for everything, like I need to, like, there's a difference between, you can't even use them the same way, right? If you're talking about a person, right? Talking about a person who's nosy, man, you stay in everything, right? But you can't say the same thing about someone who says, man, you're involved with anything, or you're ready. Like it doesn't come out the same way. So that's the way to understand that anything and everything are not the same thing. That would hear a whole lot of things, whole bunch of different things. But good morning, guys. We're going to talk about that on the walk this morning. Thank you for being here. As you check in, let me know where you're checking in from, what time of day it is, where you're from, where you are. Is that Ganchev? It's Ganchev. Are you Denzel Washington, brother? No, I am not Denzel Washington. Hollywood sniper said something, took it back down. Good morning, guys. It's Saturday. It's out here. It's early. I'm on the East Coast. I'm here in Maryland. It is 4:53 in the morning. 4:53. Bulgaria. All right, Bulgaria, welcome in. My man, Rich is back. What's going on, Rich? 6:23 p.m. out there in good Aussie land. Welcome in. How we doing? How we doing? It is nighttime for you. You getting ready? You at the end of the day. It is 10:53 in Bulgaria. Is that evening or morning? Good morning. Scott, welcome in, Scott. Good to see you too, bro. Good morning. I'm in the Southeast hour, 3:53 a.m. Southeast hour. Listen, listen. When you say you're in the southeast of a state, you're probably in the part of the state where you have your neighborhood and then like lots of roads before you see another neighborhood. What's the city closest to you in Southeast hour? Ganchev, morning 10:53. Indeed. Is that Hellbound? Hellblood. What's up, Hellblood? Welcome in. Thank you guys for being here this morning. Again, we're talking about today. Hey, have you haven't had an opportunity to, thank you everyone for stopping in, commenting, sharing. Take a moment if you can. Double tap that screen, hit that like button. It's just a way to say you would support the channel. Doesn't cost you anything, but I would really appreciate it, guys. Thank you. So, what is the difference between anything, guys, and everything? The major difference between anything and everything is that anything will be on your path. Everything will always be out there. Okay? When you talk about staying ready for anything, you're talking about staying ready for anything that is on your journey. When we're preparing for stuff, I love to use sports as an analogy because it's a great way to be able to kind of correlate these activities. I love sports because I believe, especially team sports, they teach you communication, camaraderie, leadership, development, consistency. All of these things are part of what come with being in team sports. It builds discipline, it builds structure. These are the things that you take with you from these games. We have Scott says, our city, 45 miles away from me. That's 45 miles is not a little bit. 40, for- at 60 miles an hour, 45 miles is still 45 minutes. Yeah, man. Uh, visit Bulgaria. You'll find the answers to everything. Everything is built by God. Anything is a point of view. I like how you said that, Ganchev. I like that. I'm gonna have to think about it, but I like the way it sounds. Essentials in life. Spencer said essentials in life. Uh, so anything will be, I like the way Ganchev says anything is a point of view. I like that because I think it kind of correlates with how anything will be on your path, right? Even if you play sports, right? If you play basketball, right? Great way to look at it because you have your offensive and defensive places to play, right? So if you play basketball, you as a player have to be able to play offense and defense, right? You can't be ready for everything, but you could be ready for anything. What you can't be ready for is a deep fade to the right side of the end zone because you're playing basketball, not football. You're not playing American football or Canadian football. But the thing that's important is the understanding of when we prepare for anything, we're preparing for anything on our journey. The thing about preparing for anything is it allows us to focus on our preparation and not the behaviors and being reactive to the behaviors and actions of others. When we focus on everything, when we try to be ready for everything, we have to take cues from things outside of us in order to be prepared. When we try to prepare for everything, then we have to start looking at things that are not necessarily on our journey, that are not necessarily a part of our trip, a part of our development, and start trying to get ourselves ready to handle what may come. But we don't need to handle everything. We don't need to take care of everything. We don't need to answer everything. We don't need to know everything. We need to handle anything that's important to our journey. We need to know anything that's important to our destination. We need to know anything that will allow for us to grow ourselves, not everything. And it's this consumption, it is this overall belief and desire to have our hands in and to control everything that holds us back. We need to know the difference because everything becomes a distraction. My wife put it to me beautifully this morning when she was helping me put together this live. She explained, she's like, if there's a pothole on the road and you see the pothole on the road, if your immediate thought is, man, these roads have a lot of potholes. Why isn't the government taking potholes? I pay my taxes so we don't have to deal with these potholes. Man, this is so bad. It's tearing up my car. Boom, boom. You drive through the pothole, right? Not your job. Nothing in the moment you can do to fix it. The complaints, the concerns, the interests are not going to help you not hit this pothole at the moment. And where you're going, the pothole is a part of everything on that journey. But your consumption with everything, your energy that you put into trying to deal with everything versus anything allows this thing outside of you, this thing outside of your destination, this thing that does not have an impact on the success or failure of your endeavor. It doesn't have that. But because you focus on it, you're now off your path because you're trying to deal with everything instead of dealing with anything. And your primary focus, and this is what happens is when you try to deal with everything, you start identifying problems, other people's problems, problems you have with the way people think, problems you have with the way people talk, problems you have with the other people's problems. It's just problems, but you're never thinking about solutions because the focus has become being ready for everything, being consumed by everything, being in everything versus preparing yourself for anything. Because if you prepare yourself for anything, you just avoid the pothole and you keep going. I prepared myself to understand along my travels there will be things that may get in my way. Swerve, right? I prepare myself for anything by being able to drive better, by understanding my environment so I can swerve, get around it. So I am not preparing myself for everything, but I am constantly developing and preparing myself for anything. This is important. It is a very important distinction that separates us from being distracted and us being purposeful and us working towards a goal. Let's take a look. We got some statements in here. Looks like we got another statement from Pigeon. Good to see you back. What advice would you give someone who wants to focus on a positive future instead of constantly focusing on negative possibilities? Let me know if you're still here, Talent. I'll answer that question for you. Why do you wear glasses? My eyesight is poor. Let you know right now, I take these glasses off. I'm just looking at a light. I can't see. My eyesight is not a great. Essentials in life is to share anything with loved ones. That way, everything will be with you. I'm gonna have to think about that one too, Gonchev. Jog 7,000 miles. So Goggins, he ain't got nothing on you. Yo, stop sending me out there. Who is that? Unforgiven? Nah, Joe. Babe, nah, listen. I told y'all I hate cardio. And I've started doing jogging. I've started doing this mile jog. I'm doing it now 4 times a week. I've started doing this mile jog outside of doing my live. I'm not jogging those 7,000 miles, dude. Listen, I may not reach 7,000 miles in my life, dude. Oh, Goggins is good. Love Goggins. Great. She's got great information. He, he offers some phenomenal motivation and context for people to use to understand that it requires discipline and dedication to achieve your goals. But I'm not catching him. Not trying. Not even looking. We're not even having that conversation. Gonchev, that's what keeps Bulgaria at the same place 1,400 years. All right, so Talent Pigeon, let me go back. It says, what advice would you give someone who wants to focus on positive future instead of constantly focusing on negative possibilities? Now, here's what I want to let you know, Pigeon. It's the thing we're talking about. If you've been here before, you know we're constantly having discussions about expectations, discussions about being self-aware, being self-accountable. We're also having conversations about discipline. All of these things are important. If you want to be able to focus on positive future versus the negative possibilities, which can be a challenge, take it from someone who has been faced with these challenges. I've had my own endeavors since the beginning of the year. I've gone through significant difficulty in coping with day-to-day life. And like I said, I have a wife and I have 7 children. The first thing that we have to do, and this is one of the things that I'm coming to grips with myself, is we have to figure out where we are, right? And I always say, like, we don't have to know where we are. You really don't have to know where you're at on the journey, but you do have to accept it, right? Because the biggest thing about it is when you're trying to achieve something and you want to change your focus, you have to focus is about vision. It's about what you see. Even the way you frame the question is about vision, right? It's what am I looking at? Am I looking at the outcomes that I would like to see, or I'm looking at the outcomes I don't want to see? And when you're in this space, like I said, you don't necessarily have to know exactly where you are, but we need to understand it. I'll go back to the analogy about the pothole. When there's a pothole in the road ahead of you, you can see it. And if you drive through it, you're going to damage your car. It's going to cost you money. It's going to cost you time. It's going to do damage to you. And so you now have to figure out, you already know what you need to do, right? And I think that's one of the biggest things is I need to avoid this. I need to not drive through this pothole. That's what I need to do. And I already know that's what I need to do. The question becomes, how do you do it? If you have the talent, and this is what I mean about being prepared for anything versus everything. If you have the knowledge, the talent, the understanding, you know how to drive, you're checking your lanes, your mirrors, and you can, everything on the car is working, you can navigate through the potholes, swerve, you can turn, you can make it around it, and you can continue to focus on your journey. You can continue to look ahead. You can continue to adjust speed based on traffic, timing, all of these things. They can all be anything, but you don't have to be consumed by everything. When you start to do that, you become a solution based thinker. You become solution based in your behaviors. And in order for you to have solution based behaviors, you cannot prepare yourself for the problem. You have to prepare yourself with the knowledge for your path. So when you learn math, when we learn math and we learn to read, we start by learning shapes and symbols because that's all our numbers and letters are shapes and symbols. So we start by learning those things because by doing so, it's creating a foundation for us to later put those things together. And as we put those things together later, they start to make words, numbers. It allows for us to count. It allows for us to do statistics, multiplication, division. These things grow, they compound on top of one another. However, like you said, if you want to focus on the future and not the negative possibilities, you have to prepare yourself so that when you have the skill, and it's funny because a lot of times you can't get the skill until you throw yourself in the fire. You can't learn to read until you start reading. You can't learn to count until you start counting. You have to be in it. And no, you're not perfect at it. And no, you don't have it completely understood. And no, 11 is not a number, but you have to start in order for you to get there. That's the thing that's the challenge is we try to prepare for everything. I can't prepare for my SATs if I haven't yet figured out the difference between SATs and the word SAT. I can't. Does it make sense? And so, how do we focus on the positive versus the negative possibilities? Is by focusing on ourselves because we can't control the possibilities. Everything is possible, but so is anything. And anything is what you can prepare for because anything fits within your path of your goal, your journey, your travels. That's what's going to be important. It's not easy. Dude, listen, I'm not going to tell you, get up, you got it. It's easy to do. Everybody can do it. That's bullcrap. It's not easy to do. If everybody could do it, it would be done. Everybody can't do it. But you have to understand whether or not you can or can't is up to you. It's about discipline. We know the answers. We know the things we need to do. Are we prepared to do them? Are we willing to do them? Are you prepared to take on the challenge and to fight and to go to yourself and demand more of you? Because that's what so many of us fail to do is we have these expectations for everybody else. We look at everybody outside of us. We have expectations for politicians, expectations for our children, expectations for our parents, expectations for our coworkers, our boss. We don't have any expectations for ourselves. We haven't set a single goal for ourselves that we need to achieve. We haven't challenged ourselves with anything. Maybe this week I'm going to eat less. Maybe this week I'm going to save more money. Maybe this week I'm going to get up and run. Maybe this week I'm going to get up every day at 6 o'clock, whether I have to work or not. So we haven't challenged ourselves. We haven't challenged ourselves to set an expectation ahead of anything for ourselves, but we got expectations for the whole world. So we're looking at everything, but we're not dealing with anything. That's the difference. This is how we find ourselves constantly focusing on the negative possibilities, because at that point, we've already shifted all the blame to the world. Everything is the world's fault. Everything happening to me is coming from outside of me. Of course it is, because you don't have any expectations for you. You're not doing anything for you. You don't have any choice but to allow the world to control your life. If you do not have a purpose for your life and you're not living it, trust me, someone else does, and you're living that one. You're growing their legacy. You're growing their life. You're growing their family. You don't want to focus on the negative possibilities. Start finding something for yourself to focus on and then beat the excuses out of yourself. Stop making excuses about, oh, no, worry about it. I can do it tomorrow. No, you can't. You were supposed to do it today and you missed the mark and you letting yourself off with doing it tomorrow. That's not how it's supposed to be done. That's not discipline. That's not meeting the mark. Those are excuses, and you're going to fail. You're going to fail. And the only way this will be a success is if you learn the lesson that by making excuses, it leads to your failure. Then you stop making excuses and do what you say you're going to do when you say you're going to do it. Dude, listen, it's a little bit of tough love. It's a little bit of hard information to receive. But the bottom line is everyone wants results. Everyone wants to live life a certain way. Everyone wants to achieve certain goals, but nobody wants to get up and challenge themselves. Nobody wants to look themselves in the face in the mirror and say, hey, it's on you, dude. Hey, it's tough, but stop expecting somebody else to care more about you than you do. Stop expecting somebody else to do the work for you that you won't do for yourself. You won't look it up. You won't read it. You won't do it. You won't challenge it. You don't have anything that you're prepared to fight yourself for, but you want everybody else out there to fight for you. I'm sorry, I'm a little passionate about that. And the reason I'm passionate about it is because I know for myself, I had that same journey to overcome. I had the audacity to walk into my manager's office and lay down the bottom line for the company and how much the CEOs make and say if they gave up some of their money, everybody in this company could get a raise. Who the f am I to walk into a CEO's office and say you need to be making less so I can make more? Fuck you. I'm sorry. I'm not a cursor. I'm not a profane person. I want to apologize. For that. This is what I'm trying to say to you guys. This is all I'm trying to share with you. We want everybody outside of us to look at us and feel for us and care for us and understand us and be compassionate and understanding of us. And we're sitting here, as I said before, tolerating behaviors in ourselves that we disdain in others. Every time you look at somebody and say, look what they doing. Look here. Look at this. Somebody come look at this. Every time you do that, somebody looking at you, and then you got an attitude. Why are you looking at me? You wasn't looking at me. You know that old line from elementary school? What you looking at me for? Well, if you wasn't looking at me, you wouldn't know I was looking at you. You're sitting here and we're giving ourselves these excuses. We're giving ourselves these outs. We're giving ourselves these opportunities to say that we are somewhere or are not somewhere based on everything outside of us. But we're not taking that responsibility on to do those things ourselves. Those are excuses. You don't want to focus on the negative? I'll tell you the best way not to focus on the negative. Focus on what you're in control of. When you focus on the things you can control, the things that you need to do, the places you need to be, you're not going to be focused on the negative because you have to focus on your work. And all work towards your goal is going to be positive for you. You're still looking at how try to beat somebody else. You ain't beat yourself yet. You're trying to figure out how to do better than somebody else did. Y'all ain't even on the same playing field. Somebody earlier said jokingly, hey man, run 7,000 miles. Show David Goggins he ain't got nothing on you. Me and David Goggins ain't in the same place. We ain't in the same. No, we ain't the same, and I ain't chasing him. I ain't going to. I ain't messing with them people. Any of y'all remember the movie Friday? Any, any of y'all remember the movie Friday? Man, man, the dude, he go over there, he get punched in the face, and then he go get his dad about getting his chain snatched. His dad, he come back, he punch him in the face. He said, "You want some, old man?" He said, "Nah, I told you about going over there messing with them people. Why you over there messing with them people and you ain't got yourself right yet? You want somebody else to care about you getting your chain snatched, and you ain't did nothing to protect your chain. You ain't did nothing to protect your legacy. You ain't did nothing to build your strength. You ain't did nothing to build you and make you stronger. And you want everybody else out here to have your back. You want everybody else out here fighting Debo for you. And you won't fight for yourself. You run around here tucking your chain, scared because you don't want to fight. You don't want to stand up and take that ass whooping. You don't want to stand up and go out there and challenge yourself, but you want everybody else to understand. You don't know how hard it is. I do know how hard it is. I'm right here in the hard with you. We both going through this hard at the same time, but you don't want me to understand how hard it is for me. You want me to understand how hard it is for you. That's because you're focused on everything, but you're not prepared for anything because you don't have a path. You don't have a place you're going. You don't have a thing that you're looking to do. Thank you, everyone, for the comments. Everybody, a lot of comments, guys. Thank you so much. Simple Chris, Remy, be positive or leave. I'm not sure if I read anything by Remy. Isaac, don't count the cost. Simple Chris, it's tough as it is tough. Isaac, whatever it takes, we doing that and beyond. I hear you. Jack said, "You're right, big dog. Thank you very much." Couple of newer comments. Simple Chris says, "Clickbait. Don't worry about it." Fable, my man, thank you. Hey, Fable, good to see you. Good to see you, nephew. Disrespect in the chat today has taught me, hey, man, listen. Hey, guys, remember what I said about how to be able to focus, how to prepare yourself for anything without focusing on everything? I appreciate you guys identifying the hate. I appreciate you guys seeing it. I appreciate you guys calling it out. But hey, here's the thing, and I've said it before. I'm out here on my little channel with my little 2,000 subscribers or whatnot, 20 some people watching, and I'm working on developing something and trying to build something. And then you got people who have spent their life. Hold on now, because this is how the algorithm works, which is why I really don't take much issue with it. People have stopped their life. That's how the YouTube algorithm works. It says how many people, how many times when you're up, do people stop their life? Do they say, stop? I need to get in here and I need to see this. I need to get in here. I need to say something. I need to get in here and I need to be a part of this. That's how the algorithm works. It doesn't care if it's negative. It doesn't care what you say. It doesn't care if you curse. I even turned off the controls. I turned off all the filtering on mine so you can pretty much say anything you want. But you stopped your little life. You stopped whatever you was doing with your day, whatever you was thinking about. You stopped it to say something to me. This is important, guys. Why is this important? It's important because it gives you insight. It gives you insight into people. And when I tell you the difference between being prepared for anything versus being prepared for everything means that I know the people are out there and I'm not going to fight them. You have people whose whole platform is designed around arguing with trolls. See if I can get this thing fixed. Rain's starting to come down. It's got my gimbal a little funky. So we have whole platforms. You have whole platforms of people whose whole work, whose whole job, who everything that they do is designed around arguing and having conflict with trolls and going back and forth and just being tied up. Mr. Tahoe, thank Jack, welcome in. But here's the thing, when you get tied into that, when you get caught up in it, because we're positive here, we're about growth, we're about understanding the work we need to do to grow ourselves and improve ourselves and be bigger and be stronger and do more, right? When we understand these things and we know what we're working on, then we're not distracted by that anymore. We don't allow for distractions. We don't allow for kids. We don't allow for the things that are not our thing. We don't allow for everything to get in the way of our anything, right? We don't allow everything to become anything in our preparation for our goal, in our drive and our growth towards our success. We do not allow it. And that is the difference, right? That's the difference between working on yourself. That's the difference between looking at yourself and looking outside you and making excuses and having nothing and not knowing where to even look to find anything. I wish the haters would take enough time, because I've had haters who spent time watching. I've had trolls, not haters. I've had trolls who took a little time to watch and be like, yo, I like what you're saying. And I want to be a part, which is why I don't come at them, which is why I don't curse at them, which is why I don't yell at them. You want to hate, you can hate. You want to troll, you can troll, but that doesn't change our goal. That doesn't change our focus. If you say something about the Eagles, though, Mr. Tahoe, that might get you kicked. Eagles ride buzz the rest. You see this cowboy hat. You got to be careful with what type of birds you reference, Mr. Tahoe. You got to reference something like a falcon. Like, I don't care about the Atlanta Falcons. When you reference the Eagles, though, I take that personal as a Cowboy fan. So, why does it matter, guys? Why does any of this matter? It matters because it's about our development. It matters because it's about our growth. And when we understand the difference between doing anything, focusing and preparing ourselves on anything versus trying to be ready for everything, we change our outcome. We change our outlook. We change our course and behaviors. Bald eagles, I'll go with that. Man, you're right. We do have to guard our energy. We have to guard where we put our efforts, right? And so that's the thing, right? Simple Chris, I want to share with you like this. There is a platform for that. I'm not even going to deny it. I don't do it well. I'm not I'm not the troll king. I'm not the guy who knows how to work up people to hate them, and then they just say things and thousands of people come in to hate them, and then they say stuff back and call each other liars. Dude, like, I get it. It's money. It's a form of entertainment. Just not mine. My growth is along a different path because mine is growth. Mine isn't. I'm not here to be clickbaity. I'm not here to be temporary. I'm not here to be a flash in the pan. I'm not here to be overnight. I'm building something. I'm building a legacy. I'm building success. And I'm encouraging others to do the same. I'm motivating and I'm asking you to look at yourself and be strong and understand the growth that you want to make and the path you want to travel, and know that it has to be by design. It has to be purposeful. It has to be intentional. And when you understand that and you do that, then you start to see results. You start to see yourself become more. You start to see yourself take steps. You stop focusing on the negative and you're able to see the positive. What do we have? A couple of comments. Simple Chris, that's right. Mr. Tahoe, how do you break the habit of putting energy on wanting to do something versus doing it? It's hard to, it's hard, dude, it's hard to do. Like, the way to break the habit is to start with discipline and understand it doesn't have to be perfect at first. That's why I always say it starts with repetition. Like, thinking about doing something, wanting to do something, and doing something, it starts with literally just doing it. The problem is So many of us believe that in order for us to do something, we have to be doing it right. No, we just have to be doing it at scale. Your first investment may not be right, but invest and learn. You have to start doing it because there's things you won't know until you start doing it. You just won't know it. And you can't learn it until you start doing it. This is what I just said about reading. You can't learn to read until you start reading. So, the best way to go from wanting to do something and actually doing something is to start doing that thing. But you have to give yourself some leeway. You have to give yourself some understanding that because I'm doing it doesn't mean I'm perfect at it. Because I'm doing it doesn't mean I have it figured out. It means that I'm doing it. And that is what's important. Because once we start doing it and we have patience and we understand, yo, I'm gonna get better at this. I'm gonna figure this out. I'm gonna pick up some more information. I'm gonna pick up some more knowledge. I'm gonna continue to grow. Once we come to that realization that this is what we're doing and this is how we're growing, then we have the ability to be able to look at ourselves and say, okay, I'm going to get consistent. What's consistent? Now that I know what I'm looking for, now that I know the outcomes I'm looking for, now that I know the marks, the things that are going to be important about quantifying whether or not this action or these things are or are not successful, I can now work with. That's called consistency. Now we have KPI, key performance indicators. Am I doing this correctly or am I not? I can now grade what I do. That's consistency. You cannot have consistency without having a standard. If you do not have the ability to set a standard or an expectation for the behavior, it's impossible to have consistency. It's just repetition. But repetition is okay because at least you're getting up and you're doing it. Right? Nike had it. That slogan has been around for years. There's a reason it's been around for years because you can't get better at it until you get at it. Right? That's the thing. It's like, dude, trust me. Trust me. I wanted to be, I wanted to be done when I started. Everything I do, I want to be done already. I mean, I start putting chairs together for me and my wife's office. And when I started putting the chairs together, I was like, man, the assembly time says 35 minutes. An hour and 20 minutes later, I'm looking at this paper like this. Is this a J or a C? I don't know what screw this is because I want to be better. But that assembly time is for people who have done it repeatedly, people who understand what the expectation is, people who know what they're looking for and how it needs to be done. I'm not saying that you shouldn't be able to do something, but I'm saying in order for you to say, hey, I'm doing this with consistency, you have to learn how to do it. Stop trying to prepare ourselves for everything and just be ready for anything. Trolls and haters are everything. Growth and progress is anything. And we have to know the difference. Mr. Tahoe, hope you get through whatever you're going through, Cliffy. I didn't see the comment by Cliffy. Imagine take Imagine talking about getting done while you're walking around government housing. Imagine, right? Imagine. Imagine the concept and the belief that where you are defines where you're going. Imagine the mindset and the imprisonment of oneself to believe that where you start is where you have to be, that how someone else defines you is actually who you are. Imagine, imagine the heartbreak of never being able to know who you really are because everybody else has told you who you are and you've accepted it. Imagine. Imagine that the people who you want to see do the most, imagine if the people who you want to see be most successful can't find it within themselves to appreciate you because they don't like themselves. Imagine. Imagine when you turn all of your frustration and anger and resentment for where you are, knowing that you want to be somewhere else. Imagine versus turning that into energy and positivity for your own growth, you turn it into fire and hatred for others. Hate is a horrible fuel. People take hate and they decide, I want to use this. I hate these people so much. I'm going to use this to make me better. Hate is horrible. Hate is as weak as motivation because it's a short burning flame. And the horrible thing about hate is it burns the user as much as it burns the person it's directed at. Hate's horrible. You need to learn to love yourself enough to know that you're not that defined by the outlooks and the opinions of others. You have to stop trying to prepare yourself for everything and be prepared for anything on your journey. Bro, it's taking the trolls and turning into motivation seeds. Indeed. Guys, here's my thing. I believe that growth, development, just possibility within ourselves, seeing our potential, seeing what's ahead of us, demands that we take control of it and we do it. We stop asking for others to care for us in ways that we don't care for ourselves. Since y'all Scientology, nah, not Scientology, but thanks for the comment. There's no, you don't want to hurt others. That's the thing. One of the things that I tell my son, and he turned around and used it on me the other day. Me and my wife has this thing. We're like, hey, we need to know what's going on with you 72 hours in advance. We need to make sure that you're taking the time to think about what you're doing, making your plans. We need 3 days. So he's challenged with doing it. 16, a lot of things happen. I want to do this. I don't even know how to ask. But hey, here it goes. So other day he was out and then he decided, hey, I want to hang out after this. We will stay out a little bit longer. I want to go with my friends to this place. I start hitting them with questions. What are you doing? Where are you going? What do you have? Do you have what you need? Are you going to eat? I need details. I start asking questions. He said, man, hey, you just told me to live a dream. He said, you just told me to live a dream. I'm just trying to live a dream. I was like, okay, son, I'll see you when you get home. Here's the thing, man. At some point, you have to hold yourself accountable. At some point, you have to say to yourself, dude, I'm going to ask. I'm going to ask. I'm going to see what's out there. I'm going to ask myself to take the step, to take the challenge, to do the thing. I'm going to ask myself to be accountable, to do what's necessary. I'm going to ask me to be the best version of me and see where it gets me. We have to do it. What does growth look like? Money, community, personal belief, whatever you want it to. Are you still there? Is that Clinton? Is that Decker? If you're still there, man, it looks like whatever you want it to. It's the real life he talks about. The money grid in USA is Scientology itself. Don't believe it that. That's something different. I don't go on random people's streams and troll others unless I'm hurting inside. Are you Cliffy? Open up, man. What's going on, Cliffy? Talk to him, Mr. Tahoe. It's not your fault, Cliffy. Even though I mess up, I go pretty far. God be saving me, right? God do be saving. Here's the thing, Cliffy. Cliffy, we here for you, man, if you need us. You can go ahead and let us know. My man, Mr. Tahoe, gonna make sure he looks out for you. make sure, make sure you get the attention you need. Two different people, man. I'm not Clint. Just wondering what it looks like because it's a it's a vague term. Okay, so I'll explain that to you. I want to really talk about that. I want to go back up, make sure I got it right. What does growth look like? Growth looks like growth. It's hard. I know it's stupid to try to explain a word with a word. But I'm going to ask the second person that was not Cliffy, what are you working on? Right? Colton, Colton and whoever else asks, what are you working on? Right? Because if you can tell me what you're working on, I can tell you what growth looks like. But I can also tell you if you're working on something and you're doing it with discipline, it'll impact different areas of your life, right? So I'll give you an example of what growth looks like. As a personal trainer, and I always start with either sports or something physical. And the reason I start with something physical is because nobody else in the world versus them having you like physically locked up or restrained. No, you don't need anybody else in the world to work on yourself physically. You don't need anybody else in the world to work on yourself mentally, especially with the resources that are available to us today, right? So I like to start with the physical challenges. If you decide to say, hey, I want to work out, I want to start working out. Okay, get up, do 10 squats. Officially, you started working out. Follow it up later on with 10 push ups, modified, elevated, on your knees, whatever you have to do to get those push ups done. Why is this important? Because now we're talking about actual growth, right? It starts with repetition. You don't have to be great at it. Push ups don't have to be great. You don't have to know how to do all of them. You don't have to be the best form. You don't have to have any of those things in place. Excuse me. You just need to start doing those things, right? What growth looks like is when you start to do those things with consistency. Because when you go with repetition, you have to be patient to understand I'm not going to complete this today. This won't be done today, but I can do it. So it's repetition followed by patience. Consistency is when you have an understanding of what it should look like. And now I can start to set a mark. Now I can start to create a guideline, KPI, in which I need to perform by. And then once you have that key performance indicators in there, you just need to persevere. You just need to keep going so that you understand your perseverance is what's going to drive you to your success. That perseverance makes you stronger. It turns you into the person you need to be when you see what you want to see, right? That's discipline. Those are the four pillars of discipline. So growth looks like everything that you're doing starts to compound and it shows over time. And then the real evidence of growth is that when you need it, you have it because you really don't know. And I'll give you that. You really don't know until you need it. And so you start working out, you start lifting weights, you start building strength, you start doing calisthenics, you're doing all of these things. And then one day, somebody's hanging off the edge of a roof, somebody's falling, somebody's stuck in something, anything. And you go over there and you grab and you pull them up. Or you're running from a dog. You put your hands on the fence, you go up and over it. Because now that working out that you've been doing for life has now given you talents that you didn't know you even wanted, that you didn't know that you would one day need. But now you have them. Now they work. Now they do things for you. This is what makes it different. This is what makes it grow. This is what makes you strong. So, what I'm trying to say to you right now, you want to know what growth is? Growth is when you work on yourself. And then when you need that tool, when you need that skill to apply it to whatever it is, mental, physical, emotional, financial, you have it because you work on yourself outside of your job. You work on who you are. So when your job needs a specific skill or a specific talent, you have it. It's not a question of whether or not you have it. You work on who you are because understanding yourself better and learning how to communicate better are just skills that go towards being holding yourself accountable or just skills that goes towards being able to hold others accountable. Because you understand that accountability is not about blame, it's about growth. That that is what growth is. Apply it to something. Apply it to anything. Apply discipline to anything and you will see growth. If you apply discipline and you work towards mastery, along the way, you're guaranteed to see success without a question. Colton, it's exhausting. Then I'm blessed, but growth never stops. It doesn't. It doesn't ever stop. Exactly. Simple Chris. like I'm driving from Atlantic City. Mr. Tahoe, stop by starting to make better. Um, what did I say? My glasses fogging up every time I stop. I gotta keep walking to keep the wind on my glasses to be able to read. Mr. Tahoe says, by making better choices. I guess simply you identify the issue. You gamble. I used to gamble too. I day trade. Day trade now. Yes. Okay, you're talking to Simple Chris. I'm good at Baccarat. Simple Chris says she working a system on Baccarat. Guys, I want to thank everyone for being here this morning. I want to appreciate everyone for being here and participating. I want to, as always, encourage you. Understand, know your life, know your growth, know where you're going, be dedicated to it. If you haven't done so yet, please hit that thumbs up. It doesn't cost you anyway. It's just a great way to be able to say, hey, I was here, I saw something, I read something, I heard something, and I supported it. Just awesome to have that in there, guys. As always, please like, subscribe, share. Check out the page, see what's on there. We're continuing to grow. We're continuing to move towards 2,500 subscribers. I would be grateful, very grateful to have you guys to be a part of that process. If you would like to support the page in any way, whether you're shopping in the shop, helping the studio build, or contributing directly towards the growth, you can find all of that on the homepage inside of the bio. As always, guys, keep in mind what we talked about today was very simple. You do not have to be prepared for everything, just anything that is on your path. They're not the same. Also, remember, discipline has four pillars: repetition, which is just getting started, patience, which is understanding it will take time, consistency, which is setting out a plan for growth, and then perseverance, which will work on you. So, who you'll be when you see what you see is who you need to be. All right, guys, thank you so much for being here. I want to master not even going. Um, Colton, keep up the positivity, the people in your life notice, and it makes an impact. Thank you very much. Uh, Fear of missing out, be crazy it is. Peace out, Ryan. Good morning. Thank you for being here. Simple Chris, Mr. Tahoe's, everyone else, Mr. Tahoe, everyone else, thank you so much for being here this morning. I want you guys to have a great and beautiful Saturday. Enjoy your weekend. Make sure we're continuing to grow, continuing to love. And as always, guys, keep showing up, keep blowing up, keep growing up. God bless. I'll see you guys next time.